Students, today we are going to start class 7th SST History, chapter number 6, Trade, Towns and Craft, part 2. So, student, in the previous chapter I had explained about the different kind of towns which were existed in the medieval period, and some of the towns still exist on the basis of the trade, commerce, or the temple town or the administrative town as well. So, uh, in this video, we will learn about some of the important of the towns which were famous during the medieval period according to their products, what is mint, what is made over there, and also the products which is imported and exported in those particular areas. So, in the continuity of that, let us begin the chapter or the topic which is related to that, that is the Hampi. So, Hampi is the name of a city. It is a grand capital city which is located near the river Tungabhadra in the northern Karnataka. So, basically, this Hampi is the name came from word Hampe. How this name has given, let us see. Because earlier the river Tungabhadra was known as Pampa. So the Pampa is derived from the word Hampe is derived from the word Pampa. But if we anglicize the word Hampe, so that Hampe become Hampi. Anglicize means we had converted into the English version. So Hampe become Hampi, and the Hampe word is came from word Pampa. Or Pampa was the name of a river Tungabhadra nowadays, which is flowing over the Karnataka. So Hampi was the former capital of Vijayanagara Empire. So it was the capital of Vijayanagara Empire that we have already read in the previous chapters. So Vijayanagara Empire was established by two of the brothers, which their name was the Harihar and Bukka. They had established the Hampi or the Vijayanagara Empire. This particular place is also known as Virupakshapura. So why this particular place is known as Virupakshapura? The reason is that the rulers which were living in these areas, they were the patron of deity Virupaksh. Deity Virupaksh is the another name of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was there, and on the name of Lord Shiva, Virupaksha was there, and the city was considered as Virupakshapura. It was founded by Harihar and Bukka. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded by Harihar and Bukka nearly 1336. It was the famous place during that time also in the medieval period as well. Here, one of the famous ruler, his name was Krishna Dev Rai, and his one of his minister, the witty minister, his name was Tenali Raman. You have read several story regarding Krishna Deva Rai and Tenali Raman in several books. So this was the particular city or the town which was the part of the Hampi. The Hampi was chosen just because of its strategic location. Means the location which is found near the Hampi. According to that only, it was considered as the best location for establishing any capital. So from one side it is bounded by Tungabhadra river, and from another side it is surrounded by hills, and the third one side is surrounded by the forest. So only there is one way to enter in the city of Vijayanagara Empire. So that is why this particular city was on the strategic location where the invaders or the attackers, those who wanted to attack on the Vijayanagara Empire, they cannot attack. So that they get protected by the hills and the rivers as well. Vijayanagara was a well fortified city because with the distinctive architecture. So it has a distinctive architecture. This kind of information we get from the foreign travelers like Niccolo Conti, who came from Italy, Abdul Razak, who came from Persia, Domingo Pace, who came from Portugal. So they visited Vijayanagara and described the city very well. So according to them, the cities were fortified. Fortified means the area where they are present, it is covered by the forts, and the several walls cover the particular area. Also, they had written that the building had a splendid arches and domes and pillared hall. So arches, you know very well, in the previous topic we had already discussed, the arches is the part which is present in the it provided the entrance. It provided the entrance as well as domes and pillared hall, different pillared hall, the multi-pillared hall we can say, the using that multi-pillared hall. And these were the features of the Vijayanagara Empire. It had also well planned orchards and pleasure garden, it with the sculpture motifs, where the lotus and other things were built. So motifs you have already studied in the previous chapter, chapter number 5. So motifs are what? It is a pattern design where the different pattern is used to produce some specific symbols. So these were the part of the Vijayanagara Empire's architectural. They have planned orchard, means uh, the garden which is laden with the fruits. Okay, fruit trees, basically fruit bearing trees were there in the orchards. And the pleasure gardens means the people can visit, or they can pleasure in those gardens. These kind of garden is visible in the Vijayanagara Empire. There is one more account is there. It is of Domingo Pace. He visited the court of Krishna Dev Rai, and he wrote a several information regarding the Vijayanagara Empire. So through that travelogue, we are able to know various things about the Vijayanagara Empire and the Hampi as well. The temple of Vijayanagara is was famous for the it is a famous hub for cultural activities and Devdasi. So what is cultural activities? Cultural activities means the ritual performance that were done during that time, and Devdasis were the dancers, the devotee dancers, basically temple dancers, those who prepared themselves by singing or dancing, and they perform before the deity as well as royalty and masses. So means that they were the performer, basically they had devoted themselves fully to the god, and they learn different dance form, different music forms, so that they can perform in front of god and in front of royal means the noble family or the king family, as well as the masses. Suppose there is a function, there is a festival, so these devdasis were the performer during that time, basically as an entertainer they were dancing over there. Remains of the row had uh, shows that there is a shop leading to the Virupaksha temple. So this gives the example that the Virupaksha temple was a part of trades and the commerce, because the shops shows that there must be crowded this was must be the crowded area where the people can purchase several things, and they can trade from there, the particularly Virupaksha temple and its surrounding area. And according to the Abdur Razak, a huge tank was built with the help of Portuguese mason. So mason is what? The person who builds our houses. So there was a foreigner mason, the Portuguese mason. He came to India and he built a huge tank, and that huge tank was connected with the channels, and the channels that supplies the water from the to the different part of the city. So this gives the good impression that during that time also water conservation and water accessibility was much advanced during the medieval period. Vijayanagara enjoyed the trade relation with the Persia, Arabia, and Africa, Malayan archipelago. It is a place where it is near the Philippines and Indonesia. now Burma, China, and numerous islands in the Indian Ocean. So in the Indian Ocean, there were numerous islands. There are numerous islands there. So those were the part of the Vijayanagara trade. Hampi controlled the internal trade on the Indian peninsula. So the internal trade was also the part of the Hampi's. Uh, it is under the control of Hampi, except the Malabar coast. Except the Malabar coast, the whole Indian trade near the Deccan and the southern part of the Indian subcontinent, that was under the control of Vijayanagara Empire and the Hampi. Some of the city which were famous for the different textile industry, mining, metalwork, and the agriculture products. So this is the city which is most important during that time. It was famous for several textiles, several cloths which were produced in those days. Mining is also done so that they can get some metals. So because of the metals, after mining they get the metals, so they make the metal products and sold it, as well as agricultural products which were grown in those areas. Here you can see some of the main articles that were exported from the Hampi, like gold, spices such as cardamom and pepper. So and the precious stone, precious stones, the different kind of stones, colorful stones that is used for the several purpose. People used to wear as a necklace, and some stones were used for some minerals were used for making medicines and all. So these were the things which were exported from India, and particularly Hampi. And some of the things which were imported from imported to India, it was saffron. Saffron means kesar. Coral, coral you know very well, that is found in the oceans. So coral were also used. Coral are used for making jewelries, and that is also used for making medicines. Knives, rose water, quicksilver. Quicksilver, you can see the mercury. The mercury is known as quicksilver. And vermilion. Vermilion is a a sindoor which Hindu religions females used to wear their on head, that they were representing for the married. So this vermilion is also imported from the uh, other side of the countries. Jewel, spices, cotton, ivory, semi-precious stones, and perfumes were main item that was traded with China. So these were the items which were traded with the China only. And so these things shows us the Hampi during that time, during the medieval period. It was so important town that the people who's were living in these areas, they might be prosperous, they might be rich, because the trade which is took place in these areas were led to the prosperity. Definitely it is prosperity, and because of that only we are able to know that the Hampi were the part of the India, and it was a famous town during that time. So this is the example of trade town, or the trade and center of trade and commerce. Now moving toward the next town, that is the Masulipatanam. Masulipatanam, as you can see the picture of fish that I have pasted, this might be probably not that gate or that fish that was used during that time, but this is a replica of Masulipatanam. So basically the Masulipatanam or Machilipatnam, it is a city on the Coromandel coast of Andhra Pradesh. So it is in the Andhra Pradesh at the Coromandel coast. The city name is derived from the gateway to the town decorated with the eyes of the fish. Now you can see the fishes are there. So it might be replica of, the gate which were present during medieval period. So it is a kind of replica which provide us the information that this is the gateway from where the people, where the traders and merchants, those who coming from the outside of the India, they might be entering from this gateway. So because of the gateway that was decorated with the eyes of the fish, so because of that only the area was considered as Masulipatanam, or it is also known as Machilipatnam. It was found in 14th century by the Arab traders on their way from the Red Sea to southern India. So basically, when the Arab traders started visiting, they do not go to the Surat, the another port town during that time. They reach directly to the Masulipatanam on their way. So when they reach over there, it was during the 14th century. So that is why it is said that it was found by the Arab traders during the 14th century. They had crossed the Red Sea and the Southern Ocean, then they reached to the Masulipatanam. This town was a small port town during the rule of Satavahanas in the 3rd century when Roman came to India for the trade purpose. So this was the town which was famous from the ancient time during the 3rd century as well. So the Satavahanas were ruling over there and the Romans they came here for the trade purpose. Machilipatnam was the major port of the Kakatiyas dynasty. So during the rule of Kakatiyas dynasty, Machilipatnam was their part, and that the trade control was under the Kakatiyas. During the 17th century, it became the important trading center for the Dutch, English, and French. So this was the time period when the foreign travelers or the foreign traders they started coming from the European countries. So they started coming to the Masulipatanam and they started trading basically. The Dutch has established a factory at Masulipatanam by receiving the farman from the Qutub Shahi rulers. So during that time, during the year of 1605, the Dutches reaches to the Masulipatanam and they ask the Qutub Shahi rulers to grant them permission, grant them farman to stay over there and had trade with them, and they can purchase the product from there and they can keep those products to their countries. All of a sudden, the another country has came, that is the England or the Britain during that time. So English East India Company, it has came in here in 1611 and they had also made one trading post over the Masulipatanam. However, during the Carnatic War, they lost the port city temporarily to the France. So the Britishers were forced to leave the Masulipatanam city. But after some time, the British acquired or the conquered it again along with the northern Sarkars. So earlier it was Coromandel coast only, but after acquiring the Masulipatanam again, they had also conquered the areas of the northern Sarkars in 1759. In the beginning, the Masulipatanam traded with countries like Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia. Why they were traded only with them only? Because these were the neighboring countries during that time, and they traded with them easily. But after the when the Arab traders entered in the market of the Masulipatanam, so it gives them chance to trade with the other part of the area or the other part of the countries as well. So the establishment of the sea link with the Arab countries, that gives the that expanded the trade and proved advantageous to the port town. So when the Arabs came here and they started trading with us, so this gave the chance to the expansion of the trade from not only the Masulipatanam towards the other part of the world. So because of that only, the Masulipatanam, which was the center of weaving and dyeing, so that becomes the famous industries, and that industries get flourished during the medieval period. So from here only, the different articles were exported from there, like cloths, diamond, and the cloths like chintz or the muslin. So these are, or the Kalamkari basically. So these were kind of articles which were exported from here. There you can see the picture of chintz. So there you can see a soft dress which is covered, which is on which the floral pattern, you can see the floral pattern on that. So the floral pattern makes the cloth good, and the quality of the cloth was very fine. There you can see the picture of the chintz. Chint was a shiny cotton fabric that decorated with the floral pattern. By 1680, chint became very popular. More than a million pieces of chint were being imported into England, France, and Netherlands every year. The exotic chint fabric reached Europe from the Coromandel coast on the ship of the East India Companies. So when East India Companies reaches over here, so they make the chint's cloth famous to the other part of the world. Now you can see picture of Kalamkari. Kalamkari is a art of painting. It is done on the cloth. So Kalamkari is what? It is a pan that is made up of bamboo and the color of different natural color, basically from the flower, the extract of the flower, the extract of the leaves, the branches, from some of the minerals. They make the dye means color, and after using that color, after using the pan with after using that color with the pan, they draw different patterns. There you can see some of the example, the printed color, the sober color you can see in the picture. The tree is made, the peacock and the several words, and the grounds. So there you can see this is a very fine art that was done during the medieval period, and this kind of painting that is done on fabrics were famous not only in India and the other part of the world as well. So this Machilipatnam was famous for the Kalamkari work. Now you can see the picture of Kalamkari. Now there you might be able to understand how the Kalamkari work over there. During the rule of during the medieval period, the Mughals were handled a different trade from the Machilipatnam, and they traded several things like tobacco, dyed cottons, textiles. So they were transported to Machilipatnam to Bengal, and large amount of indigos were transported from Bengal to Machilipatnam. So this is an example of internal trade that was exist during the medieval period. So here the different textiles which were dyed, means colored textile basically, was sold to the Bengal, and the indigo, the color, was came from the Bengal to Machilipatnam. So this is example of internal trade, which shows us that internal trade was in the inland, basically inland trading also there, and the outland means the other part of the Indian subcontinent. So basically this the clothes which were made in the Machilipatnam, they were demanded in West Asia and Europe, and the muslin cloth, you can see there is a picture of muslin cloth. It was so fine and so soft cloth that was also made in India, and this muslin cloth were traded by the ancient Greek from the town Machilipatnam. The word muslin got its name from the Machilipatnam. So because of the muslin cloth, the Machilipatnam is get the name after the muslin. So this particular cloth is exported to the several countries like Rome, Egypt, Athens, and Arabia. And so during the Mughal means that I had explained that during the rule of Mughals, several things were exported, and the trade were so prosperous during the different Mughal rulers basically. So they had to purchase from one place to another, and they have to keep those things to the another part of the Indian subcontinent. So in this video we'll see we had saw the different two different cities that were existed during that time, and what kind of traded things they had traded from one place to another. So now what you have to do is that you have to write the several things, you have to write the list of the things where the things were exported and imported from Hampi, that you have to write in your copy. Thank you, students.